Hi guys, this is Crystalline Page and welcome to the Om Within Masterclass Higher Evolution series, where I speak to amazing individuals who impact the world and change lives by raising the consciousness of humanity. Today I talk to Geoff Walker, life coach and shamanic practitioner, where we discuss the exciting infinite world of the unseen, such as spirit guides, connecting with your higher self, and learning about shamanism in the modern day world that can help you connect with your spirit guides to receive their guidance to assist your spiritual development and awakening. It's awesome stuff, guys. So here it is, the Om Within Masterclass Higher Evolution. I wanted to talk about the world of the unseen, like spirit animals and spirit guides, and even if you want to touch base of like extraterrestrials, and how this could connect with assisting people with finding their life purpose and like connecting with their higher self and things of that nature. We talk about this a lot, like just you and me. And I wanted to share this with my followers because a lot of them are interested in these kind of topics. So if you could share your thoughts about that, like maybe the process of how to connect with a spirit guide, because I think a lot of people, they might have never done that. Like they've read about this kind of stuff, but they probably never experienced it personally. So I think it'd be really cool if we could assist them, like to start off, like how they can do that for themselves. Because I'm all about empowering people to like find their own answers and to look within. Because I see that that's a problem, that so many people are trying to find answers outside and not within them. And ever since I started working with you, you really encouraged me to do that. And I want to pass that on to other people too, that empowerment of finding your own answers and trusting your inner guidance. And I thought it would be really cool for you to talk about those kind of things.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate that. So to begin with, like what you're describing, I would talk about in terms of the difference between internal validation and external validation. Okay, so from a psychological standpoint, or even just a personality standpoint, somebody who is looking for external validation is looking for validation of the self from without, from outside of themselves. So that whether that's in the mirror of the glass, or whether that's in the mirror of humanity. So if they're expecting or needing to be told they're doing a good job by somebody outside of themselves, they're looking for external validation. Now, it's not wrong to want it, it's not wrong to enjoy it, and it's not wrong to receive it, but, and I try not to use the word "but" without meaning it, but I think it is more important to have a strong sense of internal validation and to build that to the best of our ability, to be able to soothe the self, to be able to talk kindly to the self, to diminish the amount and harshness of the inner criticism that is so rampant in our thought processes, through building up our ability to say, I'm doing a good job, I'm doing the best I can, and I'm open to learning new ways of doing better. Whether that's in my work, at my job, or whether that's in a relationship, or whether that's taking care of my body, my mind, or my psyche, my soul. So internal validation is then learning to validate myself. Okay, to say, to myself, Geoff, you're doing a pretty good job, and not in a self-congratulatory way that makes it into that, like we were talking about before we started the recording, the big ego, not in a puffed up, I'm the best, no one else is as good as me sort of way, but in a growing, I'm as big as I can be within myself, and I bring my fullness to the universe, to the world, for the betterment of everything and everybody, to the best of my ability, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, that's a lofty goal, right? But it's not one that is unachievable. It's just one that that requires maybe a recalibration of the understanding of achievement, where instead of trying to be the best of all, just to be the best of my own and within my own skin. So in terms of doing that through the use of communion with spirit guides or animal guides, naturally, the more tools we have at our disposal, the better. The more tools we have available to us, the wider range of abilities we have. Okay. Now, you know, obviously, we're talking here about psychological or spiritual or metaphysical tools, not about physical tools, because you know, I'm not talking about filling up the garage with as many hammers, saws, and air compressors as you can find, because that'll just weigh you down. You need the ones you need, and only those. I'm talking about the more skills and tools I have to interface with my environment, with humanity, with the people I love, with the animal world.
I'm thankful you're thankful that it is amazing we can do this stuff.
Totally.
And you're flexible. Okay, I think I lost you at yeah, we're still recording, so I'll just edit that part. I don't know what happened. Oh, what were we talking about? Okay, you were talking about the school that you were learning in San Francisco. Yeah, Sacred Stream.
That's right. So Dr. Isaguchi, who I met initially when she was teaching Introduction to Shaman, with intention of integrating it into a therapeutic practice. Okay. And the reason that she was teaching this as a course there was because she believes, and I'm thankful I met her because I believe too, that if a person can learn to communicate with a spirit guide or teacher, that it reduces their dependence on a therapist or a counselor. Now, I was studying therapy at the time, which is why that was important. It also, the promised, deal with practitioner burnout. Okay, and in therapy, therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, or any helping individual is at a fairly high risk of burning out because they're dealing with other people's issues all the time. Yeah. But if you have a strong sense of internal validation and ways of self-soothing, then you can reduce your experience of burnout and teach other people to do the same thing for themselves.
Exactly.
So what I was saying is that it's sometimes easier to learn with a teacher in the room. Okay, so a human to talk to you about what you're doing and how you're doing it, and answer questions you might have, and so on. But it's not always necessary. And so the way that we went about this was that we would repeat to ourselves that I'm going to the lower world. Okay, so we're talking about shamanism here, and in the shamanic, many shamanic traditions, maybe not all, but many shamanic traditions, there are multiple worlds: the lower world, the upper world, and the middle world. Now, these, by and large, predate Judeo-Christian belief, so it isn't aligned with heaven, hell, and earth. It is just different planes of existence. But if an individual has a hard time with the idea of lower world because they are fearful, especially if they're doing it for the first time at home by themselves, they could say a place of deeper consciousness or a place of deeper awareness. Okay, I mean, if that language is more suitable to them, by all means, employ that. I am going within myself to a place of deeper awareness to meet a teacher in animal form. And so if they repeat that to themselves over and over and over, over and over and over, until they have a feeling of arrival or change or shift. And so in a arrival in the place of deeper meaning, deeper understanding, and that then they can find themselves. And I can't tell you what shift or change or arrival means because it'll be individual. It'll be, it'll be dependent on the individual's experience, just like anything in this world. So most shamanic or again, some shamanic cultures would access these places through a hole in the ground. They might go into a cave, to be away from normal society. Okay, or a hole in a tree. They might enter this place, through a hole in a tree or a body of water, going deep into a body of water. But so if an individual can imagine a hole in the ground, whether that's a cave, a chasm, or a crack in the sidewalk, it doesn't matter because this is all imaginal. Or if they can imagine a hole in a tree, or one they've seen in a dream or a movie or a picture, or a body of water where they feel comfortable and at peace, a lake, a stream, a puddle for that matter. Again, it's all about the individual. So if they find a strong imaginal place of a hole in the ground, a hole in a tree, or a body of water, and then imagine themselves entering it. Don't have to be the right physical size to enter that hole in a tree because it's all imaginal. And then going within to a place of deeper understanding, a place of deeper consciousness, a place of deeper spirituality, or the lower world, to meet a teacher in animal form. And then keep repeating that. So slowly and happily saying that over and over to themselves until they feel some change. And then once they feel some change, they could say, I'm here to meet a teacher in animal form. Now, I keep using the word form because the word form is very important, because it isn't necessary that that animal guide or spirit guide be a dog-shaped dog. It could be a dog made up of crumpled newspapers. It could be an elephant that looks like a cloud, or a cloud that looks like an elephant. It could be the idea of dog or horse or cat or leopard or condor. It could be the smell of horse or gorilla or dragon. It could be the sound, because not everybody experiences things in the same way. People are frequently tripped up because they want to see something and they want it to be overwhelming in the sense of like a blockbuster movie or an acid trip, and those things are great, but again, not everything is a peak experience. Subtlety is where most of our existence is, and therefore we should be attuned to subtlety. So if we look for subtle things and set the intention to be open to experiencing subtle things, they become profound. So if you set the intention to go down to the deeper place of understanding, to meet a teacher in animal form, I'm here to meet a teacher in animal form, then just repeating that slowly and surely to themselves until they have a sense or smell or visual or taste or feeling or idea of an animal. Just the thought of an animal is enough. Are you my guide or teacher? Now, I in this setting usually take anything other than no to mean yes, because this isn't there are no malevolent spirits here. This is not a place within yourself where you're going to encounter evil. There is no evil in this kind of work in this way. So if you the individual has the idea of elephant, ask that elephant, what do you have to share with me? How can I communicate with you? What are you here to help me with? Now, if the elephant says, no, I'm not your teacher, then you might say, could you introduce me to an animal or guide or teacher that can be of service to me, that is helping me already and I don't even know it? And see where they take you or what happens. Because really my guess would be in that situation that elephant is a guide or teacher to you. It's just one that isn't appropriate for you in that moment, because they're there, they're showing up, and it's not, if it's showing up as it is and guides you to another animal guide or teacher, then it was a guide.
Yeah.
So again, I mean, it sounds simple because it is. You go within. You go deeply within. You set the intention to meet a teacher in animal form. When, not if, but when, and it could take a while. Some people want everything to happen quickly. It could take a while. When you have the realization that you have the feeling or smell or sense or intuitive understanding of any animal, ask it. Are you my guide or teacher? What can you show me? How can I help you be of service to me? How can I understand your messages, and how can we use them to benefit the world? So a guide or teacher is a powerful internal tool of validation and support that is not what you expect and not what you want. It may even be more important for you to pay attention to what they're trying to show and share, because it may be something that is not clear to you. I mean, we all know the things we know. We don't usually seek out the spiritual to validate things we're already sure of. We seek out the spiritual to help ourselves have deeper understanding, and that's usually stuff we don't know, and usually stuff that's obscured to us, and usually stuff that is maybe even a little bit scary, because the unknown is usually a little bit uncomfortable. The unknown, the new, is often uncomfortable, even if it's better. Which is why changing our personality, changing our diet, changing our friends, changing our mental state for the better can be difficult, because it's unknown, because it's not comfortable until it becomes known.
Yes.
Okay. So again, if a person were to sit quietly and ask themselves, do I want to connect with a spirit guide? I do? Okay, great. I'm going to set the intention to do so. I'm going to go internally to a place of deeper consciousness and repeat that that's what I'm doing until I have the experience of being in a different space, whatever that means to them. It can be very subtle or very, very dramatic. And then saying, I'm here to meet a teacher. I'm here to meet a teacher in animal form. The reason we start with animal form is because most people have a pretty good associative relationship with animals. It's usually a easier and safer psychological entry point than saying, you are going to communicate with God. You are going to communicate with the Virgin Mary. You are going to communicate with, what a lofty idea. Who am I to decide that I'm going to look into the eye of Horus and be transported to ancient Egypt? That could happen in your spiritual travelings, but if you're just starting out, maybe it's wise to connect with something in the physical animal world that is available to us more quickly. So I'm here to meet a teacher in animal form. Are you my teacher? If you say yes, or you don't say anything, maybe I ask you. If you don't say anything, maybe I remind you I'm human, and perhaps you can talk to me in a way or communicate with it in a way that I can understand. Now, people, again, expect suddenly, for whatever reason, goats and whales and dogs to speak English to them. But maybe it's just that you have a feeling of knowing. Maybe it's just that you suddenly have an understanding you didn't have before. Because, they don't usually speak English or Mandarin or Russian or whatever. Because I know that you probably have people that they don't communicate with us all the time. And so if you are in a place now, I can't remember, were we recording earlier when we were talking about dolphins and so forth?
No, we were. Yeah, please talk about that. That's good.
Okay, so I'm looking beyond this computer screen out my window, and there are 3 red-tailed hawks that live right over there. Every time they fly by, I feel a sense of wonder, and I feel like that is a communication that is occurring.
Yes.
It is not that they are saying, hey Geoff, you got to respond to the email in your inbox. They're saying it's creating in me a place of wonder, and and that feeling of wonder gives way then to a feeling of connection to the world, to the universe, to the environment. That is communication.
To watch the full-length interview with Geoff Walker, spirit guide, life coach, and shamanic practitioner, please visit theomwithin.com/spirituality to get access to future interviews and more content to help you on your spiritual awakening journey. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share our videos so we can keep continuing our life mission, and your support would be greatly appreciated. Namaste and blessings of love and light always.